सहस्र युग पर्यंतम हरियद ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिम युग सहस्र अंताः ते आहो रात्र विदो जनाः. Hello friends, this is the 17th shlok of the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and today we will understand this shlok in detail. So let's first go over its meaning. So the shlok says Sahasra Yug Paryantam, which means passing of the 1000 yugas. Aharyad Brahmano Vidhu, which means know the day which belongs to Brahma. Ratrim Yug Sahasranta, which means the night at the end of the 1000 yugas. Te aho ratra vido janah, which means know the wise knower of day and night. So, in the Indian way of thinking, it is thought that everything moves in a cycle, and if you were to experimentally look at it, you will see the same thing. You can see that the day and night move in a cycle. You will see how summer and winter they move in a cycle, and you will also see how civilizations rise and then fall and then rise again. And this way you will see that all the phenomena that is happening over here in this world, they move in a cycle. So considering that, it is quite natural for us to then think that the creation and destruction of this universe should also be happening in a cycle, and that kind of a cycle is what Sri Krishna is referring to over here. He is saying that the 1000 yug, when they pass, that is a day for Brahma, and then that is followed by 1000 yuga long night of Brahma, and then of course the day of Brahma comes back again, and this cycle of the day and night of Brahma in that sense is going on. So when this is told, I mean, it makes quite a bit of sense in terms of considering this to be a cyclical universe, because around us we see all these cycles. But many a times what happens is that people take this statement too literally, and they say that over here it has been said that it's 1000 yugas long, and then they do all their calculations of how long a yuga is and things like that. But that sort of an attitude I don't think is right, because there is no experimental proof for us to really say that the day of Brahma lasts for 1000 yugas. In fact, we don't really know how long a yuga actually is. There are some things which say something, and there are other things which say some other thing. So we should not really go into the specifics of it and make it a science and really do accurate calculations. I think we should take this statement as a metaphor by Sri Krishna, wherein he is saying that the world comes into manifest for 1000 yugas, and then it goes into the unmanifest for 1000 yugas, and 1000 again is just like a hand wavy number, and yuga is an interval which is again a hand wavy interval which has been used. But you can say that for a very long period of time this universe remains manifest, and then for a very long period of time the universe becomes unmanifest. And then the idea of day and night has been used over here to represent the manifestation and unmanifestation of the universe, because it's similar to the day and night for us. So during the day we wake up and then we experience this world around us. Similarly, when the Purush wakes up, he experiences the Prakriti during that time, and then he experiences the Prakriti for a long period of time, and he gets tired, and after that he goes to sleep. And that going to sleep is basically when the Purusha is not really experiencing the Prakriti, and so this is when the universe goes into the unmanifest. While when Purusha was experiencing the Prakriti, then the universe was in the manifest. So that kind of an idea is what has been presented over here by Sri Krishna, that for a long period of time the whole universe comes into manifest, and Purusha is experiencing the universe, and then it goes back into the unmanifest when Purusha is asleep and he is not really experiencing the Prakriti. So if you look at it like that, then this statement makes a lot of sense, and we should really not try to do exact calculation and try to say that okay, this many years it lasts, that many years that lasts. I think that is more exact science, and we have done more progress in terms of that now. And so whatever proofs are coming to us right now, we should take them, and then this we should only take philosophically and metaphorically as an idea of a cyclical universe. So I hope that I have explained this shlok well to you. With that, I'll close this video. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.